pictures of some of his original Star Wars toys.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, like the OG 80s ones?
Like, yeah, 40-year-old toys. Actually been played with, so bit of May the 4th sculpture and
Wow.
still life.
So I guess people are so into the holiday that they've extended it. Did you all read about Revenge of the 5th? So it's like,
what?
because May the 4th is so intense and people are like, I want more Star Wars time. They're like, okay, well, let's tack on another day. So then you have Revenge of the 5th.
So are you only supposed to wear Sith stuff on the 5th, or
That's a great question.
anything goes?
Yeah, maybe they're just like, too much Jedi stuff yesterday. Today, I'm feeling like a little bit of dark side. Let's go. Makes sense. I did catch that very last episode of the Clone Wars. I don't know if you all follow that. But Disney Plus, if you subscribe, they like released the 9th Star Wars movie and then the end of the so good. It's just so good to take a moment and kind of wrap.
I hate to admit it, but I don't think I've seen anything past the originals. So I'm not a proper,
and that's okay. I think
I'm
that's
not a
respectable.
proper Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, the last one I saw was Jar Jar Binks, and that did it for me.
All right. I will stop distracting the main topic of this episode. Hey, everyone on watching live, everyone in chat. Welcome to episode 8 of our IoT happy hour. Today, we've got a special one. We've got our guest, Jason Koo from AlwaysAI. Let's give him a warm welcome. Yo.
Hi, everyone. Oh, thank you.
What's
Thank you.
up?
Yeah.
Let's go around the room with the usual balena crew real quick, and then Jason, you can give us a deeper intro of yourself and what you're up to. I'm Andrew Nem, content lead at Balena, just making sure we run all these web video things proper, and I love hanging out with these guys every Friday.
I'll go next. I'm David, developer advocate here at Balena, responsible for community.
Hey,
Who's next?
I'm Thomas. Hey, I'm Thomas. I'm a hardware hacker at Balena, responsible for building awesome projects with our platform on other platforms as well. AlwaysAI is an example of that. So yeah, great to be here again.
Oh, I guess I'll go next. I'm Alan Bors. I'm another hardware hacker here at Balena, coming up with cool projects on the Balena platform.
I think only John is left.
I'm John Tonello. I'm technical marketing lead at Balena, and I work with the hardware hackers and the rest of our outreach team on letting people know all the cool stuff that we're doing.
And finally, our guest of honor.
Star of the show.
Drum roll. Do you need a drum roll?
Oh, no. My name is Jason. Thank you, guys. My name is Jason Koo. I'm with AlwaysAI, and I'm a developer advocate, same as David. But we don't have dedicated hardware hackers. So you can see in the background, I am also half part-time hardware hacker for our team as well.
Hardware or fall crop? So what's up with that creepy pumpkin?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because it wasn't propped up for being asked about. So this was for a project last Halloween where we wanted to create a autonomous candy dispensing machine. And what it does is it uses computer vision to see how far people are. So when they first kind of walk in by the house, it'll go, hey, come over here, get closer. And then when the person gets closer, the machine will dispense candy for you.
If they get no. I think the correct word is if they get closer, you may actually creep them out to the point where they just say, you know what, forget it. I'm going to a different house.
They might actually. The few kids that were walking by, they kind of just immediately like, what is that thing? And just headed toward it. It turned out pretty good because we had set it up under like a porch light with the red light, so it like stuck out, right? It was like begging, like, come closer.
Wow.
Nice.
Hey, not to add any pressure, Jason, but we have a first-time viewer named Holo Sweet, so you got to impress him. Welcome, Holo Sweet. Thanks for watching.
Holo Sweet, welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Is that Candy AI camera project open source? Like, can we contribute voices and stuff? Like, can I send a PR that has like a whole set of other audio? Like, hey, kid, hey.
You could, yeah. I think we put the code up on public GitHub repo, so I'll post that up later for everyone. It's definitely a work in progress. That we're planning to upgrade it and kind of refine it for next holiday. So,
Andrew, I'm thinking we need to combine forces with him because Alan, I see, you're on the line. You built that pumpkin last year that had the roaming eyeballs. If we could get the LCDs in behind Jason's pumpkin there, I think we can take it next level.
Yep, that'd be a
Yes.
great combination.
Let's join forces and partner to scare children. I think that's an awesome mission.
Yeah, nothing could go wrong with that.
Be careful with what you put out to the community too, Jason, because poor Alan, weekly, somehow someone finds his web URL to his buzzer, his LED
what?
alerter that he
Oh, is
typically
that
has
what?
behind him.
Okay. That
Yeah, and then
was
all of a
making noise
sudden
earlier.
throughout the episode, you just get these random beeps.
Yeah.
Probably from other coworkers, but it's
Yeah,
fair
if it
warning.
beeps during this, it's not me. I can just promise that.
Yeah. Don't connect a buzzer to the internet.
That reminds me, there's like some used car sales site in the UK. I forget the URL for it. It's like Lang's Cars or something. And they've got a webcam that faces into their office 24/7. And
What?
you can press a button that says like annoy this one particular coworker. It like plays this music or something.
Wow.
And it drives them crazy. It's very eclectic. It's very interesting. I'll have to dig up that link for you guys too. Okay.
So yeah, speaking of computer vision, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're up to at AlwaysAI, what you've been working on?
Yes.
And a little bit of what to expect in the episode here.
Okay, so again, AlwaysAI is a computer vision company. So we have a platform that lets developers quickly get up and running with computer vision or to add computer vision to an existing application. And the idea is we're trying to make it so simple that you don't have to have any sort of computer vision expertise. You can just come in, be a junior, mid-level Python developer and be able to get up and running, to be able to build something like this or anything that's kind of computer vision driven with just really minimal computer vision knowledge ahead of time. And I guess probably one of the best ways to explain computer vision and like what we do is probably to just kind of show off like the product, right? To show off like how easy it is to code and stuff. Should I jump into that now for like a screen share, or should we come back to it later and it's gonna stay high level?
Oh, no, I think that was a great intro. I'm also just an awful host this week. I skipped one of the most favorite moments of our happy hours where we go around and we talk about what we're working on. So I would be so remiss if we didn't catch that. So hardware hackers, what do you all have going on?
Well, I can start with just. Oh, sorry, Tomas, you want to go?
No. Go ahead.
I just wanted to show off something real quick. I know is this also the new product as well? Something new that I've got here. Just this little Oled display that snaps right onto the GPIO.
That is tiny.
You see, it's really tiny. It snaps on, and I
believe you. I see a blurry.
Yeah,
I know.
It's blurry, but we can tell that it's there. Wow.
Yeah,
very cool.
How is that attached? Oh,
it just snaps onto the GPIO pins like that.
Yeah.
Ultra small, and it is difficult to read. But I have it programmed to just show a couple of balena parameters. Like the device name has the IP address. It's great if you have 15, 20 pies lying around like I do, and you're not sure exactly what they're running or what they are.
Oh, cool.
So it's just an added container that you can add to your, Docker Compose, and it'll run this little display. So kind of cool. Something.
Can you put your thumb by it just for size reference? That is so tiny.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Small.
Nice. And will that work on like a Pi Zero or Banana Pi Zero too?
It works on any Raspberry Pi. I haven't tried it on other devices, but I would think, it just basically has a Python library. So I would think it could run on pretty much any device that has GPIO. I think it's I2C, so it's pretty universal.
Nice.
So Anything that has that standard 40-pin header, then again, standardized version of it. Interesting.
All right, Tomas, now it's your turn. My patient
now
friend.
you can go.
So this is this contraption I have here. So, I don't know if
that
you
a
can
Kindle
see it.
that you broke?
It's not a Kindle. This is the Raspberry Pi official touchscreen, whatever, just a screen with
the 7-inch
touchscreen support. Yeah, the 7-inch.
Nice.
And right here on the top, I don't know if you can see it. This is a thermal camera, which is also like super wide angle. So I've been working on actually a project that's based on community contribution. So the idea is to use the thermal camera to like estimate the temperature of your skin. This is, of course, useful and related to like the current worldwide events, pandemic. So the idea is, I don't have it plugged in right now, so I probably should have. The idea is that you point this and you can see yourself on the screen with an estimate of your skin temperature, and there is a safe or healthy range. If you're outside of that range, you should probably go seek a more professional and medical solution than this. But it's a very interesting project, and it also, I don't know if we can see it here, but this is what you do when you don't have your solder iron in your house and your country is in a lockdown.
Duct tape,
so
absolutely.
A bunch of tape,
Yeah.
and
it's a universal solution.
Yep.
The pins are somehow holding the connection together with the copper. So,
Tomas, I'm so sorry that I stole perhaps 2 hours of your productivity. Last week, was it, where you showed me your duct tape soldering solution, and I linked you to that SNL video of Big Poppy duct taping iPhone to the ceiling, and that led to a whole rabbit hole of other videos and links. But hey, we need that right now, right? Gotta
absolutely
work hard, play hard, right?
So yeah, cool. This stay tuned for this project's going to be releasing it soon, I guess.
For those of you just starting to watch now, that camera project's based on a community project that we saw, where we absolutely dug and wanted to try on our platform. If you have anything similar, feel free to get in touch. We would love to balenify it, have you join the community, have you contribute as well. Everyone's welcome, so feel free. And also, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to hear or get notified when we have our next episodes or any new videos about balena, IoT projects and whatnot. So Jason, I loved your intro that you talked about making AI and ML just much more accessible for folks. It feels very similar to our mission at Balena, where we're trying to reduce all the friction around IoT projects. We just want people to get going, get started, do something cool, scale it up like crazy, right? Into that vision that they all have. I wanted to know more about that and empowering piece, because I know that's kind of how we all started to meet one another, right? Like we were actually supposed to be together at that NVIDIA event that got canceled, obviously due to global reasons. But I'd love to hear more about that empowerment kind of angle.
Right. So so computer vision and machine learning, right? There's a lot of like prerequisite knowledge you need to like really get it, just to get it up and running so you can do something interesting, right? Because most people are like, okay, I want some app, some device to detect something, and then I want it to do the thing that I wanted to do, like tell someone like, hey, you've fallen down, I'm going to call police, or oh, you're feeling sick, or you look like you have a fever, okay, I'm going to tell your doctor. But to get to the point where you have a machine that can like interpret visually what it's looking at, similar to us, again, you need lots of background knowledge on how that works, right? Because there's so many variables involved with making computer vision work. It's really like, I mean, it's all science, but it feels like half science and then half art, right? There's a lot of variables you tweak. So in trying to make this all more consumable for folks, we've done a number of things. Probably one of the most notable things is we have what's called a model catalog. And so what we've done is we just grabbed a lot of like mobile and single board device friendly models, and we've put it up all in one place. So normally you would have to kind of search for every sort of model or look around on the internet to find data sets and models you want to use. But here we've put it all, not all, but a lot of it in one place. So you can just search it like, okay, I want to find something that can detect a banana or an orange. You can just put in like banana, orange, and it'll list you out like, oh, here's all the models that you can just use right out the box. And then we go to the next step of making that simple is we take that model that you've now found very quickly and then have a Python library where you can call it and then call these sort of generalized APIs. So like, okay, Detector, use this model, and then whatever your results are, I'm going to go through those results and then do something, versus having to program for every individual model's like particular nuances. We basically generalized it with this Python library. And then we have a set of CLI tools to help you deploy quickly to devices. Similar to Balena. Actually, Balena takes it, of course, a step further, right? So we help developers very quickly to deploy onto a single device. But if you want to deploy to dozens, hundreds, this is, where like Balena's architecture really fits well with ours. Like, okay, you've completed one, you've got this Docker image, containers ready to go. Now, if you just go a step further and push it to Balena, now you're deployed all over the place.
Oh yeah, fleet wide, even.
Yeah,
that's amazing. For folks out there, we're not the only ones asking the questions here. If you're watching along, feel free to pipe them into the chat, and we'll make sure we ask Jason. Easy questions, medium questions, hard questions, welcome. Sorry, maybe not the hard questions. That's Friday.
Nah, yeah, you know what? It's Friday. Don't ask him the hard questions.
Easy and medium, please.
Unless you're monitoring.
Unless you're Phil Wilson and you're just weighing gherkins, then you're probably too busy for us right now. I wanted to focus on the fact that AlwaysAI is very much computer vision focused, correct? As opposed to other solutions out there that maybe focus on a wider gamut of AI and machine learning. Like I saw this really cool project that I actually poked Jason about. OpenAI has an interesting jukebox project where I guess they're using AI and ML cycles to learn different styles of music and then write its own songs and lyrics. Super fascinating. But I'm wondering, in a way that I kind of reminded me of empowering, it's not just about any one certain subject matter. Like AI and machine learning is helping like all kinds of different things. And if you empower people to do that, then you can get to interesting things like jukebox. I won't take up too much of the episode here, but feel free to listen to some of the songs. They're bizarre. It's like it just learns off of like classics like Frank Sinatra, right? Or like, some sort of like heavy, it might cross-reference that with like heavy metal, and all of a sudden you have these like lyrics that are generated and it tries to like emulate how a human would sing the song. And it gets things right because a lot of pop music has similar repeating elements to it. So it just knows to like, do a really easy BPM that you listen to, these simple chords over and over again. It's an interesting treat, but I know it's one of my, go ahead.
So does it like randomly like generate music for you, or do you choose like parameters like, hey, mix me, German death metal with something more hipster?
I might have oversold it. I think it's still learning within its distinct genres for now, but it'll spit out stuff, generate stuff within the genre itself. It doesn't mix yet. Okay. I think that's in my mind's eye. I'm really curious. I want to hear like it just smash genres together. Let me link it in both cool. Our private chat here and as well as the community one for folks who are super curious. But back to the subject at hand, you're empowering not just folks everywhere else, but on this call as well, because both Tomas and Alan have used the AlwaysAI library. And I'd love to hear more about, how they've been able to feel empowered to build some pretty ambitious computer vision projects using the AlwaysAI toolkit. Alan, you can go first.
Sure. It's just a pleasure compared to any other method that you would try to do. I specifically had been concentrating on the base images required to get started, all of the dependencies and everything that you need to install in order to start just playing around with AI and computer vision, and just all of that gets basically replaced with one line. When you're using AlwaysAI, you just say from, and you use the container that they've already provided, or I'm sorry, the base image, and it's just so much easier that way. So that was the first thing that I noticed.
I have.
Sorry, go ahead, Tomas.
No. Finish, then I will.
No, I'm good. I'll come back to more of it. I'll let you go.
I have just one short story, which I think exemplifies greatly the empowering that AlwaysAI gives you. So I guess it was 2 or maybe 3 years ago. I was working at another company, software development company, and we had a client that basically they had a project where they wanted to trigger certain events whenever they had a webcam. Whenever they detected someone kicking a football ball, a soccer ball for US people. So whenever the feed was always on, and whenever there was like of course a 9-10 meters distance, whatever, but whenever someone went by and kicked the ball, they had certain events or something else they wanted triggered. And I worked on that project, and I remember when initially they came to us, like we had zero knowledge about like machine learning, AI, and all that stuff. So we had basically to start from scratch. I remember we tested 3 or maybe 4 like different neural network frameworks, and even for a couple of models for each framework, and that took us like a lot of time. I don't want to. I think it was maybe 2 months, and it was 2 of us, maybe not full time, but I mean it took a lot of time to get from 0 to, hey, okay, we can do this, and this is the optimal combination of framework, model, or whatever to achieve what we want. So that took a lot of time, a lot of research, a lot of learning new stuff, a lot of specific vocabulary, and it's time consuming. So fast forward the 2-3 years, and when I first learned about AlwaysAI, that's the first thing I remember was that project. So once I got set up with AlwaysAI, I tested, tried a couple of demos. I said, okay, hey, I wonder how, like, what would it take to replicate the project that I did back then? And like I went into it, and it took me probably, I don't know, a day or something to get something that, of course, was not as robust as we had originally, but that was, okay, this kind of works. And I remember that really struck me and say, okay, this is awesome. So yeah, went a bit on a rambling here, but just wanted to share that.
Oh, I think that was spot on. Y'all have really removed a lot of obstacles, even for like a super low level user like myself. I remember when I was testing Tomas's stuff. Jason, you had mentioned at the top of the episode, that library of modules that you can shop through to find exactly what you need to help you with your computer vision project. And it's just, that was really fun. I mean, to see that you had all these pre-trained models available for you, and some that even perhaps need more training. And, even just like feeling like you could possibly be a part of helping that is like pretty neat. I mean, you get your project up and running and going, and you whenever you need it to do, that feels great. But then there's like, wow, this whole world that you've unlocked, even if you don't have the depth, of engineering chops that you need to be, more of a core part of it. You could kind of do your part to push this along.
Right. Yeah, and we're always adding more features. Like we're working on probably the next thing that we've noticed people want. Like, okay, I've got this model working, I can do this thing. one of the first things most people want to do then, right, is like, okay, now I want a specialized model, right? Like, I want
Everyone
something
wants
that
Training. Yes.
finds something specific.
Like a
Of
chicken.
course.
Right? Yeah. Like I can detect a cat and a dog, but I really want to detect a raccoon.
Yeah.
And I don't think we have a raccoon detector at the moment, but
I'll search. Let me check.
but yeah, so being able to retrain an existing model or create a whole new one is the next logical step and is the next thing that we're working on. So definitely keep an eye out. Hopefully sooner than later we'll have some tooling and some services to help people do that on their own without having to really struggle through that. Because I don't know if any of you have, maybe Tomas has done this, but try to build your own model. Just even getting started is quite the adventure.
Yeah. If like all the previous steps are complex and time consuming, but training is like another whole level.
I worked at a company where I worked with our data science team, and we were training a text kind of scanning module as well as an image. We were trying to basically scan web pages and get a sense of like information architecture and stuff. And he had started from scratch, and it was just bizarre. And actually really fascinating to see, you know, how just those early days, that infancy kind of state of things is just like, wait, that makes no sense. How's that the right answer? You're telling me that this page about a cat is about a dog, and that picture of a raccoon is a picture of a candy cane? Like what? But it's a tool, right? And you need to like hone it, and it takes a lot of time to do that. Can you give us a sense of if with the libraries that you do have, like how much time invested do you think that is, with all the different modules available, all the different versions and whatnot? Like you're like skipping a lot of steps, right? Like as someone coming in new.
Yeah, to just train some of these models. So a lot of times, a lot of open source or other companies will make data sets available, right? But data sets is just like the starting point, right? Here's all the trained images and annotations. Annotating like your own like training set takes a ton of time, and it's super labor intensive, right? So doing it from scratch basically amounts to like, hey, I'm going to take this camera, I'm going to video record a bunch of stuff, right? And then if you've got a good tool like say CVAT that can you can tag a frame and then go like 10 frames later, it'll kind of interpolate that movement. Then you can adjust that. So that actually speeds things along. Otherwise, you're going to every single frame and going like, okay, this little box, this is a face. Now this is a face. This is a face. And then, so you annotate all that, and then you start the training. And the training takes, depending on how powerful your system is, or if you're using a cloud service, can take, if it's a really great system, 20, 30 minutes for like a starting kind of model. Otherwise, you might as well just like run it overnight or just really out. Basically, it's like 3D printing. It's going to take hours to train a model, and you're going to have to do it a few times at least. So yeah, having all those pre-trained models, like, okay, this has been built by a professional. It's got pretty good accuracy rate. Just throw that in, get started. You can have someone else, or you can go back and build a more refined model later, but you can get started right now.
I need to know. Well, first, I think we've got a community question in. So David, feel free to.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. It looks like Tomas actually answered it in chat as well. But
we're all good then.
But for Jason's sake, the question was, pardon the noob question as I hop on a bit later. It looks like I can use the CLI to interact with the apps and models. Can I do this in a Balena Cloud app as a Docker container, perhaps accessed from another container? And Tomas did answer absolutely.
So, right on. Good. For anyone else watching, feel free to keep the questions coming. Oh gosh, now I forgot my train. No, I remember my train.
I was going to say, let me sneak in because I have a question, and I noticed I put a link into one of the models, so you can check that out. The audience can check that out in the YouTube chat. But you talked about training these models. I noticed that there's a couple of odd, at least in my mind, items in here, like a triceratops. How do you go about training a model to recognize a triceratops?
So again, it comes down to like the training images, right? So obviously someone there are a couple different ways. You can go and take real images, which would be very hard to do at this point. But you can train off of images. So right, so if people have done drawings or graphics of it,
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, you just watch the movie and just
movie.
like, yeah, you go right there, right? And then there's this new technique that's come out. It's called training off of synthetic data. So synthetic data is basically so open up Unity, drop in a bunch of 3D objects like dinosaurs, cars, whatever, and then you can move the camera in that 3D space, right? Or just you could interact with this entire virtual environment and create situations that might be very difficult to capture in real life, like say like car accident. You don't want to have to go capture real car accidents, although I guess there's plenty of those too. But you could create the situation in a synthetic environment, have it happen repeatedly with slightly changes in variables, and capture that data to train models with. So a lot of autonomous car stuff uses synthetic data now.
Wow. And is that synthetic data relying upon like high-end, perhaps like GPU, like textures to kind of emulate images that are close to real life? Does that help, or does it matter? Like, can you use synthetic data that's like a hand-drawn picture of a situation? Like, I'm assuming quality matters. That was a silly question, but I'm leading you to an answer.
Yeah, I would imagine you get better results with like the more realistic you make those synthetic environments versus like really rough polygons, right? Because although a human can easily like change, like, oh, that's a polygon rough, representation of a hippopotamus versus a real hippopotamus. But for a computer system that's looking for very fine key points, it looks at images differently than we do. So obviously, the more realistic you make it in realistic contexts, is better, right? You'll get better results.
That's cool. Throughout this whole show, we're talking about empowering the end user to get going with AI, machine learning, computer vision. What are the prerequisites for anyone to just start going? Like, do you need any kind of specific hardware, software, etc.? Like, let us know what the beginner kit is for folks out there who are curious and want to get going on this beautiful Friday.
Yeah, sure. So hardware-wise, we've got native installers for Mac, Linux, and Windows. So if you just want to like test on your home system, you're good to go. And you just need a webcam, which hopefully isn't built into your laptop. Otherwise, you can use an external USB webcam, or you can just run off of files or like a video pipe. So just to get started, just whatever computer you're on right now will work. If you want to deploy to edge devices, then anything that's using an ARM7 chip and like bigger, like so ARM32, ARM64, x86, which we just talked about, will work. So things like the Raspberry Pi 4 or this new Balena fin that just came in.
Oh, what you got there?
Oh, how did this arrive? So
look at that plug. Wow.
Shameless plug. That's a Balena fin.
Wow.
So yeah, pretty much not every, but most single board computers that you're going to be able to get your hands on will be able to run our platform.
That's cool. And I'd love to get into a bit of a demo that I've heard you've brought for us to check out. So please feel free. We'd love to see this in action.
All right, let me share my screen if I can remember how to do that. Start share. Okay, can everyone see the screen with a frozen image of me and the code?
Yep.
Sweet. Okay. All right. So here on the right, here's an example. So all these apps, these are all the starter apps that you can pull down through our CLI. So as you can see, it's about like 12 apps. The one I'm going to focus on is, let's not do the object. Well, actually, all right. So I'll give you guys a choice: object detection or pose estimation. Pose estimation.
You want to do a vote? Should we vote on the video chat or the community chat?
Yeah, there'll be a little bit of lag, but we can give people 30 seconds or so and make some small talk. Absolutely. So
yeah, let's do it. All right. If you're watching right now, what were the choices again, Jason?
Object detection. So it would be basically detecting things like a person, fruits, bottles, that sort of thing. And then pose estimation, which actually shows like key points and lines of a person, so that you could make calculations of like, is somebody standing? Is they jumping? Are they dancing? All
right. You hear that, community? Object detection or pose detection? Vote. Go, go, go.
Yeah. I put it into the YouTube chat, so we'll give folks a couple of seconds.
Right on.
While the stream catches up.
To pass the time, I grabbed a model to test using a camera. I've mentioned this on a previous episode to capture chickens to detect. So I use object detection. No, did I use a classifier or detector? Anyway, one of the two, whichever one worked, because I'm a newbie and this stuff's hard for me. But anyway, I thought I was pushing my branch of what I was working on, my PR up to a private balena thing, but I actually pushed it back up to AlwaysAI, and that is actually how I met Jason for the first time. Because you wrote back, you're like, "Hey man, great work and all, but." Like, yeah, thank you. Thanks
what
for
the hell is this?
Yeah,
thanks. I really love your Chickenator app. However, we're not really in the business of chicken detection.
Yeah, I could read the between the lines, Jason. There's a subtle like, hey, this is a business.
No, that was not what I was going.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, it was like, so it's a person detector app, right? The repo even says like person counter or something, and you had pushed all this code update for the Nano. I was like, oh, this is great. And then I saw it was like, oh, it changed detection from people to chicken. I was like, that's good, but this is
something.
Not exactly what we're going for in the person detection library, but thank you.
All right, clearly people have chosen pose estimation.
Yeah,
pose estimation.
0.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so we'll bring pose estimation, and just to so we have a basic pose estimator app in here, which just shows the lines and key points, which is good. You can play off of it. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to spin up an app that one of our developers made, Andre. We call the Ymca app. And so this goes a step further. It does the pose detection, and it tries to detect what shape you're doing if you're trying to do, say, the Ymca dance. So
that's sick.
Let's see if this will run while I'm live. Of course
Did
not.
you say your prayer to the demo gods? That's very important.
Looks like
I didn't. And it's funny because I tested this all last night, of course, and now that I want it to run again.
Not a problem. If you need to get your bearings and whatnot, like take your time. Hence IoT happy hour every Friday. What was it? I'm always bad with the time zone thing. It's 1400 what, David?
No, 1600 UTC.
Yep. Join us every Friday. We'll be here doing stuff like this, talking shop, showing off demos that are run by people who did not pray to the demo gods. Phil Wilson, I'm looking at you too, virtually.
Yeah.
Hanging out. Yeah, having a good time.
Okay, so fortunately, I prepped a second device, and it also is having the same issue. Wow, what luck.
That's all right.
Okay, well, that disappoints me. Okay, so let me spin up the real-time object detector because that one. And then
this is nice too because it gives people a feel for just using the AlwaysAI CLI, etc. Like, why not, right?
Yes.
Jump right in.
Okay, so here we are. Refresh this page. Okay, so here we can see the real-time. Can you guys see that? Real-time object detector.
Yeah.
So here it can detect me. It's it can see this occluded suitcase. What else do I have on my desk? Oh, I just happen to have a banana here. Let's see if this text. Am I using the right model? Probably not. Oh, yeah, there it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is. I love how for a moment there it was like, is that a banana or a person? You're like 60% certain it's a person.
Did it say donut?
It grabbed that one, yeah.
Orange.
Oh, orange.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Orange.
I could see how it might think it's a donut though. It's a
are those props
orange.
or real bananas?
Yeah,
I think that was
it's a real banana.
No,
actually, I wonder how well it detects after I actually can. Where can I go? So banana. Now, if I have a peeled banana, does it detect?
Oh,
no chance.
Up in the game here.
It's totally whitewashed from the light.
No, the shape
it
is
needs
different.
the spots, right? Is it also relying on the color and the spots?
Could be. Yes, it's probably was trained on just
for folks who are just joining right now. They're probably like, "What is this show about?"
See, yeah, and then it grabs it again. It's got it now.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess it wasn't trained on open bananas, which.
Jason, I promise I'm not going to turn any of this into a meme at all. I promise, 100%.
If Chris is watching, he will not make that promise.
Yeah,
he's already like, haha. So this is the object detector. Yeah, I guess while we're talking, I'll see if I can get that Ymca or pose estimator up and running, because that one's pretty impressive. Actually, let me try to give that one more go while we're here.
Yeah, I have a question about the object detector. It looks like yours is capturing as much stuff as it can. Is there any kind of, when it's running on like a single board device, how like CPU and GPU intensive is it? To like do all that work on like such a little machine.
Oh yeah, well that actually was running off a Raspberry Pi 4, and that was using accelerator, but it will work with just the CPU. So Raspberry Pi 4's CPU still has enough horsepower to do it.
Wow.
It just doesn't demo as well because the frame rates coming through the streamer is like it's much slower, so it looks kind of choppy. But if you're running in production without the streamer, it detects fine, so long as you're not doing like sports. Okay,
Jason.
Yes.
Is that real-time detection data? Is that available like through an API if you wanted to act on that information if some particular item is detected? Like, can you hook into that?
Like if a triceratops is detected, maybe you have an issue, you've got some kind of a problem that you need to address immediately.
Yes,
exactly.
So yeah, you could totally yeah, you can change it so that like I said, let me show you the code part here. So this is the real-time object. Oh, this is the post estimator one. So all the sample apps kind of look like this. You can see there's a lot of notes here for folks, a lot of print statements. But the real meat and potatoes is here where you're turning on an object detector or another sort of like a semantic segmentation or classifier. You just do this, and you just put in a string of the string identifier for the model. And then here we're turning on a webcam. We have a bunch of APIs, so you could use like a CSI camera or other video streams. And then, of course, we read the video stream, and then we just run it through the object detector, and then it will spit out a list of predictions. And then through those predictions, all you have to do is go just kind of parse through it and go like, okay, what do I want to do with this prediction, right? So for your API idea, you could have this sort of aggregate what it's detecting and send out an API call of what it's seeing, which is probably most data efficient. Or you could take this frame after it's done all its detection, and instead of sending it to the streamer, you could send it to an outbound like request or a socket system to pipe that to anything you wanted. So you could combine. So if you kind of reconfigure this, to just send, instead of doing what it's doing, to send the predictions and stuff outbound to another Docker image on the same device. Like actually, Balena again, I'm gonna call you guys out. You can have multiple containers, right, on the same deployment. So you could have one Docker container that's using RCV detection and just have it pipe the data to another Docker container running a server that does your business logic, right? And you could deploy that together, or you could deploy this separate, and then it will send that information outbound to another server to process that info. You can, yeah, that's all completely doable.
It's great.
That's actually for the NVIDIA event that got canceled. We had actually prepared like this simple demo where we were using the people counter project. I think that's one of your sample apps, or it's at least available on the GitHub. And then we send all the data into a Grafana dashboard, which was running also an InfluxDB database. So the idea was we were storing all the data and showing it using a Grafana dashboard. So you could see, the idea was to see how many people were passing by the booth at the conference, or how many people stopped by throughout the time. So You could then, by looking at the graph, see, okay, this was a busy period and this was not so much. So yeah, we were like kind of aggregating all the data coming out of the main container, which was the running AlwaysAI, using Grafana as a separate container. So that was cool. Unfortunately, the event got canceled. So, but yeah, it's super easy also to do that.
Nice. Yeah, you know, there'll be future events to kind of play around with that stuff. Yeah, I had done a kind of an update to the people counter. I just call it a capacity counter, which just counts the number of people in a given location, right? So if you have multiple cameras at different entry points, it would just detect like someone coming into a zone and like, oh, this person has entered the target location, so I'm going to up the count by 1. And then if the other camera sees someone else coming in, it's like, oh, I see someone coming here, that's up the count by 2. And then if either camera sees someone leave, it'll increment down, right? So you could get not just detection, a counter of people right in front of a camera. You could, depending on the camera placement, get the total count of people in a given area, so long as all your entry exit points were covered.
So a total capacity, I guess, so you can start to determine then how many people, are, attending an event or in an auditorium or
grabbing brunch.
Grabbing brunch. Yeah.
I'd love that counter to be like, oh, we're full because this AI told us so. I saw this really funny tweet about brunch actually, where someone was like, someone I used to work with tweeted out, if you miss weekend brunch in Portland, you can still live a bit of it by standing outside on your sidewalk and waiting around, because that's like most of the experience. Just waiting 2 hours to get in to eat for 30 minutes. And I was like, well played, sir. Anyway, my aside's over now that we've got this going.
All right, so I got a pose estimator working, although I forgot to change the camera, so it's so stuck cool on the bottom one. Okay, so
just live coding? Did that just happen?
Yes.
He fixed it, man.
All right, I'm gonna walk away from my computer, so I won't be able to hear you guys, but I'll just do some random poses and then come back.
We can now talk bad about him.
Yeah, now you can say whatever you'd like to say.
Ymca. That is definitely not. Oh, it is. That was. Oh wow. Oh wow.
So cool. We should have had the music. We didn't have it queued up and ready.
Oh, did you see the output thing though? That was cool.
Oh yeah, the key points. Yeah. So this one is the default pose estimator. This is not the Ymca app, but this is the starter app. That's why whatever I did, it didn't kick off.
Yeah.
The Ymca
I was like, that's not a Y.
Yeah, and we were upset that we didn't have the music queued up and ready.
Yeah.
Oh.
For those of you watching right now in the community, we're about to witness the AlwaysAI Ymca pose detection app. So stay tuned for seeing that in the full in a sec. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them in the chat.
Yeah. Although I might not be able to spin this guy up today for some reason. Oh.
We're making progress, though. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so let's see if I can understand this error messages. So it looks like an issue with Docker. Oh, you know what? Maybe I need to just blow away the old Docker image, which I don't recall where it's stored. Is it in the bin? Nope.
Look at that, live tearing out of things. You're basically an honorary hardware hacker. Do we have like a badge for honorary hardware hacker? Chris isn't on this episode. He'd probably have an answer. Chris, I bet Chris has some sort of like sheriff's deputy badge that we can 3D print and send to our future guests.
Where is this Docker thing? Huh, okay. What I'm going to do instead then is let's start from the beginning, kind of. I'm going to find the Ymca app. Okay, so here's the default code. So what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to, not do that, since that didn't work. Let's go this way. Delete. No, probably not. It will. Okay. All right. Now we're talking.
All right. Back on track.
Oh, something's happening. Oh no.
All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically configuring the app, right? So this is kind of the first thing you'd want to do if you're working on working with our system anyways, is when you first download one of the sample apps, you want to do app configure, which here tells me like, what device would you like to push to? Since I'm on a Mac, it automatically detects like, okay, so if you're running this command, you want to push to an edge device. So I'm going to look around and like, okay, give me the IP address of the exact device you want. So here I've got an Ethernet connection to this particular Pi. So I just entered its address. Here it's finished setting up all the configuration. And if we're lucky, this command will actually push the code and the models to the target device. Oh, it's looking good so far. So here you can see it's copying the application to the device. And then I think once that's done, oh, okay, yeah, build a Docker image. And then once we're done, oh, okay. So now this is where it installs the models. In this case, it's the human pose model, which.
Nice work. You're getting some mad props on the comments or the chat, by the way. They're like, cue Mission Impossible music as you're live coding.
Yeah.
So pose estimation. Let's reset this. So we've only got one human pose currently in the marketplace catalog, and it's just called human pose. This one in particular is designed to work with the neural compute stick by Intel. So if you don't have one of those, the pose estimator won't work. I think we are working on a different pose model that doesn't require that, but just that's one caveat of this existing model. Okay, so all right, so it looks like it deployed. Come on, baby, let's start. And I'm hoping this will say okay and give me localhost.
Let's go.
Ah, sweet.
Yay.
So here you can see the debugger. So you can just command click or just open it up in any browser on your local network. And okay, cool. So it looks like it's working. I'm gonna step away and try to do a YMCA. Please forgive my terrible rinsing at a time.
Someone remind me to dub YMCA over this segment. Just kidding.
Why?
Oh.
All right, I am too tall for this. Let me. Go on the wrong way. Okay. Why?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
What?
He looks like
Got it.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Hey, there it is.
All right.
All right.
I can't believe.
Amazing.
All right, so it works. Cool, excellent. Yeah, and if anybody's interested in learning more about pose estimation stuff, I'll just put this plug in. We do have a webinar in the next few weeks focusing on pose estimation.
Cool.
So you can
Super cool,
I'll
man.
try. Jason, do you know where the link is for that? Or I'll search real quick and drop it into the chat. You guys carry on. Let me find it.
Okay. Yes, it's a. I think off the top of my head. This is something we can do right now. See how well my memory is. Oops. It's gonna be this.
That was pretty
Yeah,
neat.
because I'll look to see if there's a section on the website, if there's upcoming events or upcoming webinars or something.
Okay, yeah. I don't think it's public. Well, I mean, so there's a site for it, right? There's a landing page. And of course, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But yeah, I can look for that as well too.
That's okay. You guys carry on. I'm gonna go check. I think in my email, I may actually have a link for it.
Right on.
Perfect. Cool. Yeah, so that's the YMCA app built by one of our engineers. And so as you can see, actually, let me bring up
chat.
this code. Oh, are they fleecing me?
No, that's mad props. You got a young man. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, we should have totally queued up some music. Okay, so here you can see the kind of the meat and potatoes of meat and potatoes. Is that a phrase? Of the app here, where it's just looking at the pose here, right? Let's see, where is it? Is of a particular pose, and then like display the letter, and then kind of continue. And then the kind of details of the pose detection is up above. So actually, I should just post this now so people can grab this. We did post this public in a public repo. So if you wanted to get an idea of how to use the pose estimator to do other detections, like somebody sitting, doing something else interesting, you can grab this. Oh, I don't have access to the YouTube thing, but I can post it.
So not that I don't consider karaoke as like a real life professional use case, but what would the pose estimator be used for in like a real setting?
Like a real setting. So you could use it as like at a nursing home for like fall detection, or if somebody seems distressed. So like, hey, this person hasn't like moved the appropriate amount. They might be in bed too long. You could use it as a really annoying alarm clock type system. Like, oh, keep playing this music until you actually physically get up. Like you can wave your arms all you want, but until your body gets off that bed.
Yeah.
So
or karaoke. Let's be real. Karaoke.
Right. Actually,
you could also do like a detector where if you touch your face, it sounds an alarm or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Like don't touch your face type of.
Stop it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The pumpkin can yell at you. Stop. Stop. Sorry,
Yeah,
you didn't catch the first part of the episode. That pumpkin behind Jason is sentient.
Jason, I found the link to the event and I dropped it in for folks to check that out.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool demo.
Very welcome. Yeah, thanks for letting me demo it, and ask about it, and being patient with the debugging session.
Oh, of course. That's what we're here for.
That's the best part.
Yeah, you tidied stuff up real quick. That's impressive. Sounds like with that, we're pretty much wrapping up here, unless we've got any extra questions last minute questions from the community. If not, I think David, you got a couple things you wanted to hit before we all let everyone enjoy the rest of their day.
Let me check real quick for any questions rolling in. I don't see any. I think we're good. People are impressed. Just one last quick announcement. Just keep in mind that the hackster.io Detect and Protect event is still running. So if anyone out there is watching, go check out that contest running on Hackster. I'll get the link dropped in just a moment. But that's a cool project, and you can win some prize money. You can actually win a balena fin, AWS credits, and I think even Azure credits as well. So you can choose whatever platform you prefer. And I think that's it from my side. Anybody else have anything they want to add?
We've got a question.
Oh, did something come in?
Yeah. Can you track people's running form?
Running form with the pose estimator? You could. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's with someone running that's very fast, right? It's a lot of it's a high frame rate, so you'll probably want to not use just like a Pi with a neural compute signal, but something with more horsepower, probably like a Jetson Nano. And then I mean, you could use it for running, you could use it for exercise, whatever you can fancy up.
Ooh, another one here too. How about creating a new model? For example, checking microscope photos for certain wildlife.
Microscope photos for wildlife. Wait, so like microscopy for like cellular life? Well, either way. So if you've got like a trail cam looking at animals, yes, you can make your own model for that off of cells. Like say you're looking for tumor cells or just different kinds of cells. As long as you've got a good collection of that sort of base images to train off of, then yeah.
Very cool. I like the comment, yoga validation, because you need a yoga validator in the studio.
Yeah.
Wrong pose detected. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Stop. Because that's
downward dog is just a little off.
That's super relaxing and helpful. Right on. Well, thank you so much, everyone on the call, everyone on the show, in the chat. We're here weekly. So yeah, thank you so much. Please have a great rest of day, rest of the weekend. And we appreciate you all. If you haven't yet, feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment on how we're doing. We have community chat running, I believe, as well on our YouTube channel. So feel free to hit us up there. We'll be throwing a couple of questions, polls to make sure we're answering questions that you might have, IoT wise, project wise, and that way we could have a lot more fun episodes together.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Cool.
Thank you so much. See y'all later.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.